Welcome to the Cincinnati Bengals crossover. I am your host, Brandon Harriet, here with your host, Tim Lyons. And we've got a special guest representing the Jacksonville Jaguars, John Otto. Some of you may know or definitely heard John Otto, drummer for Limp Bizkit. We appreciate you getting on the show with us. John, how you doing today?
Good, Brandon. Tim, thanks for having me. It's pleasure to be here. Appreciate y'all reaching out.
Good to have you. Good to have you. So were you born and raised in Duval?
I was born in Jacksonville at the Mayport Naval Station. My dad was in the Navy for 28 years, and his last station he retired in Jacksonville, and that's where I was born and raised, and where we got our Limp Bizkit got its start, and where we put the band together, and the rest is history.
It took off like a wildfire, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a heck of a ride. Those were good years for me too. Things didn't hurt nearly as bad when you guys took off.
Yeah.
The knees and the back didn't ache. It was great.
I feel it. Yep.
So, big Jacksonville Jaguars fan. Got your first win against Carolina last week. So,
We
to
did.
know.
Yes, sir. You guys as well.
Yeah, we had a pretty ugly one.
Hey, well, you take it though, right? I'll take all of them as long as they're a W.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've watched the trials or tribulations of the Bengals recently, but Zach Taylor not great in the first couple weeks of the season. So
yeah, I've noticed that over the years, but
yeah,
he's a hell of a coach though. Seems like
he was 1-11 in weeks 1 and 2 going into this year. So we'll take that one win no matter how we get it.
Yeah.
Tim, how you doing out there in the Pacific Northwest?
Good. You see, it's beautiful outside for being September. It's like 72 degrees outside and gorgeous. But yeah, it's it's September. It's fall time. It's where the trees are going to be starting to turn colors. But we're here with my boy John and my boy Brandon here. With the Bengals crossover. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun show because just having us three in here talking about the Jaguars and the Bengals matchup. It's going to be fun. So much fun.
Well,
yes, sir.
I think before we get into the actual matchup of it, I mean, John, I'd like to ask you your thoughts. The Jags just did a trade with the Eagles and sent Tank for a 5th and a 6th next year, right?
Yeah. I think that was. I mean, I hate to see Bigsby go because he kind of became a little bit of a staple for us, but also our running back room is, we got 4 running backs,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess from what I've seen, what the rumors are is that the whole room is great. So, with Etienne being healthy this year, and he put up 143 yards the other day. So it's,
great game.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, and the Eagles are banged up in as far as, aside from Saquon, as far as their running back room. I feel like, the one thing I do like about, I'll just start with to answer your question in a second. I just really like where the whole organization of the Jaguars are right now. The general manager is not scared. And I think this kind of, he's being a real we have a real general manager now that is like not scared to make moves and is constantly looking to improve the team. And when things get crowded, he sends somebody off, and he got some decent value for that player. So I think it was a good move. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree with you more. And the young kid out of Virginia Tech is I heard is Tutton.
Tootin, yeah.
Tootin. I heard he's really turning heads. So I think with the emergence of him, and you look at, like, if you need to retool the running back room, some of the value you're getting in the rounds that you got, 5 and 6, a lot of times they're drafting really good running backs in those later rounds.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think that was a good move. And we also got LeQuint Allen, I think is his name. We've got another guy in there too. So they kind of have, Bashan's more of the speed guy.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a 4.3 at the combine, which so the fastest among all running backs for this past draft. And then you got LeQuint, who's a little bigger, and then he, as far as like on the I mean, we all know what ETN, he can run between the tackles and you get him in space, and he's, we know what he is. But I guess the other thing that they were praising is the pass protection from Quint. The other day, the coach mentioned it specifically that, he had a couple DNs running at him, and he stayed in there and, enabled Trevor to make the few throws that he actually did make, which, there was a lot of drops that were concerning to me in that first game, but I guess we can, you guys probably saw a lot from, we all see a lot in the, week one is, it's.
Yeah, I don't know if you
terrifying at the same time when you watch your teams,
I think 3 or 4 of the games went over on the over-under. I'm a little bit of a gambler. So I was watching it. We were actually talking about just blanketly betting the unders for week one because so many teams don't play their starters as much as they should early on in the preseason and stuff anymore, to my belief. And it's just massive unders everywhere.
That's a good point. You can definitely tell the teams that don't play their starters at all because it seems like they don't actually really start playing until the second half of the game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like everything's super sloppy, and it does kind of. I do think that having those snaps helps your team no matter what. Even though I get the injury thing, but I think I think it does help.
Yeah, and even in like in OTAs and minicamp, teams like if you look at teams who historically are regarded as having physical minicamps, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Packers, all those teams started off hot.
Yeah, it's
might
true.
Be something to it.
I agree.
Tim, you got you had anything you want to ask John before we get into the matchup stuff?
Yeah, John. So, you and I kind of mentioned this to you on our phone call the other day, but I wanted to kind of get your idea and your opinion on it. You guys drafted Travis Hunter, the Heisman winner from Colorado, the dual threat wide receiver corner, of college football last year. I know. Yeah, last week, or excuse me, on week one, he had 6 catches for 33 yards, but I think he only played 6 downs at corner. So, how are you feeling? Do you feel like he is a Charles Woodson, 2.0 that's going to come into the league and really show, what he can do on both sides of the ball? Or do you really think that Jacksonville is going to really lean on him to play wide receiver?
Okay, so I think this goes back to what I was going to get into about the organization. I really like the GM. I like the fact that they said we need to help Trevor Lawrence and we need to help our defense and we're not scared to go and, Jacksonville, it's been tough to be a Jacksonville fan. I'm just going to put that out there. But, through the years watching, they've always done just the safe, whatever falls to them kind of thing, which I just don't feel like if you're going to try to win in this league and be you got to be bold. And I feel like that's what he has the balls, he's like, let's go get Travis Hunter. And I feel like Travis Hunter is going to be that guy. I feel out of abundance of precaution, he got hurt somewhere in the preseason slightly. So I feel like everybody pumped the brakes and went, hold on. We're about to have our, season start. Let's not start this to where we can't, before our experiment has even been shaped to what it is. Let's not, totally kick it down the drain until next year. So I think that they're just trying to ease him in, and he probably knows the offensive playbook a little bit better because he has a little more experience at that. From how the practices, it looks like how the practices were following. So I think that they're just letting him dip his feet in, and then I do think that on passing downs they will let him get used to the system, and then as the season goes on, I feel like you will see the snap counts start to equal out through the whole game.
Mhm.
That's what, a theory anyway. But I think I think he's been doing this his whole career, and he won the Heisman because of it, which is no easy feat, So I do think that they're going to let him be him, and I think that the way they're doing it is a smart way. And I think right now you're just not seeing the snaps on defense because, there's 12 or 2 weeks almost of game prep for real planning that he wasn't a part of because they were holding him out. So I think that that's probably why you didn't see so much on the defensive side yet.
See it as it goes kind of thing. That makes sense. And keep it, get his sea legs under him. There is a different speed to the NFL game, and speed is not a concern for that young man. Neither is his energy. The amount of snaps he played at Colorado was staggering, man. It was wild. So definitely his stamina is there. So I look forward to that. And I think, they did a lot of like the bubble screens and the short passing game to him this last game. And that's one of those things that kid can bust it, bust one tackle and he could be gone.
Yeah. You can see that you can see what they're starting. What it looks like they're trying to do with them looks like the right thing so far.
Especially Brian Thomas. I know he didn't have a Brian Thomas-esque game with your first game against Carolina, but I really believe in the young man. I actually said that I think he'll be a top 6 wide receiver at the end of the year in the league. I really like him, and I think with his vertical threat and route tree and having using Hunter as that underneath and slanty and bubble screen guy I think that those two route trees really kind of work well together. And if you switch those two on a route tree, it could confuse everybody.
Oh yeah. The other thing that I think another factor in there is who had a pretty good, is Diami Brown is I think that was a good pickup that they had in the free agency, and he showed up in the Carolina game this past weekend. So, I don't know with Brian Thomas, but it looked like he was in there for a minute, but then he wasn't out there for, I don't know. He had a couple of drops. I know that through camp, he had some really good days, and then he had a few days of bad drops. So he's kind of got a little bit of a case of the drops from the outside looking in. But I agree with you. I think that he's a hell of a wide receiver. I'd put him right under you guys. With your wide receivers, I'd put him right up in that same thing. Maybe not quite as polished because he's only been in the league for 1 year, but he could potentially be to where Higgins.
Yeah, and Jamar Chase, by the way, I wouldn't panic on somebody having a little bit of the drops because Jamar Chase had the drops his rookie year, and everybody wanted to run him out of Cincinnati. That worked out pretty well.
Shit, he's the best receiver in the league, man.
He's something else.
He's something, yeah. You guys' offense is scary. I mean, it really is.
Hey, let's start there. We'll start. What are your concerns with your defense going against our offense?
Yeah. So remind me again, it's Chase and Higgins, and who's the other one?
Really, Gesicki is our tight end, but he kind of.
Yeah, but don't you have Boyd too?
He gets a lot. No, Boyd is in Titans. I believe he's
Titan Tech, Tennessee.
Okay.
Yoshivash is the third one now.
Okay, so you guys did have Boyd,
And
though,
Jermaine
right?
Burton is the fourth.
Yeah. Okay. But still, I mean, doesn't matter. You got those two, which are crazy. And Gesicki. And then who's
Noah Fant is another tight end we got now.
okay. Yeah, so you guys are stacked all the way through. And then you got Joe Cool, that guy's incredible. I think he's the best quarterback in the league, but
I'm biased.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. I'm concerned with our secondary with all that firepower, especially the tight end position, because I'm a little worried about how our linebackers would match up if they're going to have to go into coverage against either one of those tight ends. So I think there's that's a mismatch there. But and then I'm concerned about do you double? What do you send your best guy to follow Chase around the whole time, or you just see who ends up where? I don't know what that's but I guess that's what every defensive coordinator worries about when they play you guys too. That's a tough scheme to try to figure out. If we don't get pressure on your quarterback, we're going to get blown out the water. I mean, I think it comes down to that. It comes down to how much can our front do, which, I do feel like our front is pretty.
It's an upgrade.
Pretty stout.
Pretty substantial, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, Tim, you want to give him the good news?
What's
for
that?
him? Do you want to give him the good news for him?
Yeah,
I'm guessing you probably can get some pressure on.
Yeah, my biggest concern, our offense, our concern against your defense is, if Jacksonville's defensive coordinator and that whole defense watch the footage from the Cleveland Browns, like if they can somehow mirror that image of what the Browns did to us, we're in some trouble. We are in some trouble. If they can get pressure through that offensive line, which was just not good that second half, we're in trouble. If Joe cannot get that ball out and we can't get run plays, it's a big concern for me.
Yeah.
I know, Trevor Lawrence, last week, he played fairly well. Yeah, he had that one interception, whatever. But
yeah, I know that's one he would want to have back, but I just think he lost that for whatever reason, and then I think if he would actually see, because you could see the touch on that, Travis Hunter was going to the end zone, and then that was a hell of an interception, man. I mean, you got to give it to him. Like, wow. I just don't think he even saw him stop on the route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he did throw that, but he sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, you're fine. But my other thing would be your guys' run game, ETN. Can the Bengals really step up and stop the run game in your tight ends? We had trouble last week against tight ends. Tight ends were killing us against the Browns. The Browns, Njoku and what was that other? Fannin Jr., they were lighting us up last week. So, if your tight ends, I don't know who your tight ends are these days. But
Hunter Long and God, I don't remember. There's one more that we got in free agency, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, if we can't
Hunter Long.
Yeah, if we can't cover those, tight ends over the center of the field, or those short little 5, out passes or whatever, we're in trouble. So, that would be my biggest concern.
Johnny Munt.
Oh, is that who it is? Munt?
Tight end Johnny Munt, Brenton Strange, and Hunter Long.
Yeah, Munt. That's
Man, I feel like this is like a broken record. John, I'm glad you didn't watch the Bengals crossover last week, because you just hear me regurgitate the same garbage. It's the big uglies, man. It's the big uglies. Every time we play, I know what Joe Burrow can do when he's not on his backside. I know what those guys can do out there. I've seen Chase Brown when he has a whole run. But I go through our PFS total pass grades or total offensive line grades here. Orlando Brown, left tackle, 67. That's our high. Karras at center, 59.6. Fairchild, left guard, 54.8. Right guard, Patrick, 50.2. He went out when he got hurt. Mims, right tackle, 46.6. Reisner, who came in at right guard, 43.6. That ain't going to get it done. It ain't going to get it done, man. You got to have some guys up there in the 70s and 80s.
I agree with that.
And then the other concern when you talk about a stout defense up front, if we can't run the ball effectively, everybody can tee off on us the way that we're built. It's just the way it is. And when you guys hold Chuba Hubbard to 57 yards last week, 3.6 yards a carry, gives me some concern. So that's where I really, on the Jags defense, that's where I really feel like opportunities. I agree with you. Like, I think we have to get favorable matchups on one-on-one on the corners or our tight ends on linebackers. If we get one-on-one matchups, we'll win them.
Yeah, and you get some of those rub routes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do see that the thing that drives me crazy about the Jaguars is in the middle of the field. I don't know. I feel like the middle towards the post is for whatever reason, they just can't cover it very well. I don't understand why that is, but I noticed that was a weakness for us last week, you know, and just the corners. That's our one weakness. I mean, Tyson Campbell is a great corner when he's just cornering, but like, you know, I feel there's another thing that scares me. I feel like we get our backs turned and the quarterbacks, there's nobody ever spying a quarterback and we just give up. Like the quarterback just
scramble or run.
Our backs are turned, nobody's spying, and then quarterback's gone for 10, 15-yard chunks at a time before, you know. I see that too. I saw that all game. Like Bryce had God knows how many yards. He was the leading rusher of their team last week. Like they just couldn't stop. And you know it's coming. And it's just like, okay, you know. So that's a little bit concerning to me, but you know, we shall see. Man, we shall see.
Well, before we get into the Jaguars offense and our score predictions, we'll take a quick break. For those of you watching on YouTube, you know the drill. We'll be back in a few seconds. You're listening to wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you thumbs up, like, subscribe, share us, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll be right back after these messages from our partners. And we are back on the Bengals crossover here live with John Otto, talking about Jacksonville Jaguars matchup with Cincinnati Bengals. Once again, appreciate you coming on. Good stuff, man. Good stuff so far. I think we both. I think we're going to tell a lot about our teams in the upcoming couple of weeks. Both got the W. Both have some things to work on. So I feel
playoff game for our teams. Like this feels like this is like a playoff matchup.
It could be a litmus test. Yeah, it could be a litmus test for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the offense, man. Where do you think the Jaguars have some opportunities to take advantage of the Bengals defense?
I don't know, man. That defense is pretty gnarly. I mean,
we're gonna have opportunistic last week, but they gave up 350 yards.
Yeah, that pass. It's almost. I could mirror what you're saying. It's if we can't stop the pass rush, we're in trouble, dude. We're in trouble. I think that the one thing that I think that if we can get the run going then that's going to open up the passing lanes for sure. And then I think that we, you know, I guess going from what you're saying, maybe, you know, I do think that we have probably the strongest offense that I've seen consistently since back in the early, you know, the late 90s when we had, you know, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell, the old school, you know. We had Aaron Beasley, who was actually a really good friend of mine. You know, back in the day, I got an autographed jersey that he gave me somewhere around here. But
awesome.
Yeah, but I'm always like, damn, we need like 3 of you on our defense. But yeah, I think this offense is explosive and can be, but it comes down to the drops, and it comes down to, can Trevor, you know, he relearned all his mechanics this year, which is good. But I saw a couple of times when the feet, you know, when he got a little out of his, you know, we'll see. Is he going to be the guy that holds onto the ball and then fumbles or tries to do too much, and then, you know, I think that we have to see what happens. But I mean, I definitely think that the tight ends, I think these are the best tight ends we've ever had. So, you know, we had Evan Ingram last year,
yeah,
but he was more of a wide receiver, not really a tight end.
Same with Argasecki. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's more like, okay, he's more of like an actual hybrid wide receiver. And then he just couldn't stay healthy. So you kind of, and that's when we had the emergence of Brenton Strange, who was at Penn State, but he encompasses the whole thing. He does the dirty, and then he's got really good hands, and he's faster for a tight end. So that might be a little bit of a matchup that we could exploit. And then the screen game, like with Travis Hunter, Diami, and, you know, we have a lot of speed. I haven't seen this much speed for wide receivers with Brian Thomas, Diami Brown, and Travis Hunter. Those three, you know, they're all 4.3 guys. So it's, you know, that's where I think that we, you know, pick your poison type of thing. But so I think that might affect it, and we're just gonna have to figure out some way to stay away from Hendricks, man. You know, like.
Yeah, we need to get Hendrickson going. We need to get him to the quarterback for sure.
The one guy that I'm like, okay, this guy's a problem. The front's a problem. So
I will tell you, as an opportunity, you guys should look for number 29. Cam Taylor-Britt did not play well last week.
Awful.
Yeah. I don't know who your corners are.
So Cam Taylor-Britt came he was our expected number 1, and he's been playing like all through mini camp, all through preseason. He just has not played well. He hasn't played a whole lot either. He had some nagging injuries, but yeah, it's Dax Hill coming back from knee surgery. 2 kids from Michigan, which, if you can't tell from the back swatches here, I'm a Michigan fan. But Dax Hill and
Turner.
That's the kid that ran 4.27. So DJ Turner. I actually, it's funny because I was more concerned about our safeties, and our safeties played decent, I thought, last week.
Who are your safeties?
Geno Stone and Jordan Battle, kid from Alabama.
I've heard of Battle before. Yeah. I remember.
Geno Stone's from Iowa. We signed him from Baltimore.
Okay, well, he's going to be that's well coached right there. Anyway, it just, you know, you can't. I feel like it doesn't matter who you are. You go through the Ravens, you're going to come out good no matter what. You know.
Mm-hmm.
They got that defensive culture there, but yeah.
Tim, with the Jacksonville on offense, where do you see opportunities for the Bengals defense, maybe to swing the game in their favor?
If we finally show up this week in Cincinnati, our whole stadium's going to be orange. If Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor, well, let's put it this way: if Zach Taylor calls the correct offense and Joe Burrow executes it well, along with the rest of the offense, it could be a long day for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Now, but there's a caveat to that. Jordan Lewis for the Jacksonville Jaguars corner. He's a 9-year veteran. He played fairly well against Carolina last week. But if he cannot cover Jamar Chase or T. Higgins on Sunday, they're gonna have a long day. But let's not forget, like we said, Cincinnati Bengals weeks 1 and 2 for the last 6 years are now 2-11. 2-11. Our slow starts have killed us, have kicked us in the ass. If we don't go out there fast and furious for all 4 quarters, we're in some big trouble. But I think Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown can keep that motor going. If they can keep that motor going, I think it'll be a good Sunday, a happy Sunday, a redemption for us. But, I still believe that Jacksonville and the Cincinnati Bengals could end up meeting in round 1 of the NFL playoffs. So they match. It's a good matchup. I think Joe Burrow's like 2-0 against Jacksonville, but the games that we played, they've been good, close games. Trevor Lawrence has, played some good games. Trevor Lawrence, he's not a bad quarter. I've never been sold on him. Sorry, John. Yeah. He's from Clemson. I just never liked him, but he had a great college
for sure.
Yeah, he had a
number
good
one high school recruit, number one out of college.
He was
pedigree's
good
there.
Quarterback. I would like to see for him to continuously make improvements and become a elite quarterback for you guys. But I don't know. We'll see.
I think he has it. I do. I think that he's been dealt a rough hand, which was nothing like his college or his,
right.
Which was good for him, but the disaster that was Urban Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, you had Doug Peterson, who I like Doug EP, but he came in that first year. We went to the playoffs and we were 1 game away from the Super Bowl. But and we had that epic comeback against the Chargers. I don't know if you guys.
That was awesome. I remember that. Yes.
So when I saw that made me go, okay, this kid, he got it, But unfortunately, similar to what you were saying about the Bengals, like when you look at the offensive line grades, our offensive line has been atrocious for the past few years. And I don't care how good you are.
Hard to overcome.
If you can't set and throw it, you can't. If you don't have time, it doesn't matter. And I think that on top of losing a year in a pro system, right, and then losing and having new coordinators every year has not done him any favors, right? I do think he's gained a lot of intangible experience, but he's it's the second year of Doug Peterson. It's like he kind of gave up. And there was no more scheming. Everybody just knew what we were going to do. And everything looked and that was the story of the past 2 years for us, or I don't even remember how long it's been. Was he our coach 2 years or 3 years? I can't remember, but I know the past 2 years have been kind of crazy, because we had the one good year and then the next year we started off really well. We were in the win column. It was like our record was 7 or 8-3, and then they lost out the rest of the year. If I'm right, and somehow
did Trevor go down?
Yes, and then last year it was the same situation. So I do think that Liam Cohn is a great addition. Coach and a great offensive mind, a young offensive mind, and he's knows how to do the quarterback things right now. Look what he did with Baker Mayfield. Mayfield is an elite quarterback now. And a few years ago, we were all saying Baker Mayfield sucks. Yeah, I know I was saying, you know what I mean? But it just goes to show you what can happen when you get that extra coaching and tweaking
experience. Yeah,
right. Support staff, really.
And dare I say, I know this is a Bengals Jaguar crossover, but the way the Colts looked the other day, I'm like,
yeah, wow.
Jones looked like a different dude, man. I don't know. They're in our division, so that's like a little eyebrow raising right now. And I don't know if it's because that's how bad Miami is, or but that's either here.
Listen, I think the questions about Daniel Jones have to do with two teams, and neither one of them are the Colts. Did the Miami Dolphins make him look that good, or did the Giants make him look that bad? It's one or the other.
Right.
Or
little column A, little column B, right?
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway. But yeah. So back to the whole thing. I think Trevor can be great. He when he has time, he seems to make the right. And that was another story of last year. There were so many drops last year before he got hurt that it was just, you can't win like that. You just can't. You just can't.
I mean, he's got the arm talent. He's got the stature. He's athletic enough. If he gets out of the pocket, he's a problem. He's got what it takes to get there. I think you're right. Like a little more stability and like minds, right?
Yeah. Well, time will tell.
I'll say this. I think the Bengals on defense, I was pleasantly surprised with Miles Murphy and Shamar Stewart.
Shamar Stewart, the beast. Yeah.
Man, I did not expect him to throw offensive linemen out of the way as much as he did. I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
That's what scares me about it's the line. It's kind of when the Jaguars and the Bengals kind of look very similar in nature as teams.
Yeah,
they really do. Like they're stacked similar. They really do.
I agree with you, and that's the thing. I think we need to get pressure on the quarterback in order to I think we're both trying to do the same thing in the game to prevent the other quarterback from getting hot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Keep them off the rhythm, because once either one of them get the rhythm, it's
And I give ourselves. It's going to be an interesting matchup to me because I give the Bengals a little bit of an edge at quarterback, but I give the running game edge to the Jaguars. So I think we're going to see an interesting battle.
I do too.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I agree. So that leads us into the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guests go first. Pull the Band-Aid off. Give us a score prediction. And don't you be afraid to say it with your chest. Put your chest out there and take those Jags. I've picked against the Bengals last year several times. I got a little bit of I took a little hassling for it.
Yeah, we were debating on if we were going to kick him off the show or not because he kept doing it.
Oh, man. Okay. I think it's going to be 24-21 Bengals, only because you guys are at home.
All right. That's a good score.
Good score.
Vegas likes that score.
Yeah. That's what pops. That's just what pops into my mind. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm going to be going for my team, and I would love to sit here and do it. But if I'm going to do this honestly, and I'm going to do it like if I was betting on it, it's hard. It's Bengals at home. I don't, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one for any team. I don't care who you are. So, especially with us, but we're brand new system on defense, brand new system on offense, second week. I like what I saw last week, and I do have confidence in them. But to pull it all the way out, I'm not there yet. So I'm going to stick with it.
All right. Tim, let me hear your prediction, man.
And I know I've seen this movie before.
You're gonna take Duval's not happy with you right now, but I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah. Duval's pissed off at you right now, John. They're angry. So
Hey.
I don't know if I should share this on the YouTube or not.
Yeah, did you tell your coach where to put the emphasis on Duval?
Man, I tell you what, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I don't know anything about this guy, but I already don't like him.
That's funny.
But anyways,
I think he's a great coach. And
it reminded me of Brian Kelly all of a sudden having a Cajun accent when he went to LSU.
Yeah.
It was very similar. Like, you're trying a little too hard, my man.
Yeah, absolutely.
but so
for being a coach, somebody should have coached him up on that. Like, oh man. Bro.
Yeah, where's your PR personnel? You gotta get over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on my take here is I'm gonna pick. Of course, I'm picking the Bengals to win only because we're at home. I think the spread was like what 5.5,
3.5
yesterday.
right now.
Oh, it's
really?
3.5 right now. So I'm gonna say, yeah. So I'm gonna pick. If I was a betting man and I was gonna take the points, I'd take Jacksonville with the 3.5 because I think they would win that bet. But on a pure level, no points given, I'm gonna say the score is 21-17 Cincinnati Bengals. 21-17.
So he told you to take 3.5, but then had the Bengals win by 4.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
That's why he doesn't have any gambling money over here, John.
Yeah. So you know what? I said that, and then I went there, didn't I? Wait a minute, that's not 3. I was going to go us win by 3 points. Yeah. So 3 points. Okay. So you know what? 21-18. There we go. 21-18 is going to be the score for Cincinnati Bengals.
6 field goals. I'm going to pick up your kicker on my fantasy team.
Hey, other things.
By the way,
field goals.
I do interject on one thing. That might be a difference maker too, because our guy can kick 70.
Yeah, that was wild, huh?
You know that, which is
kicker.
You know, and that 70 had room to grow. Like that wasn't like a weak 70. That was a.
I want to see that kid kick that during a regular NFL season, and it break all the records.
Me too. Me too.
Well, he might get an opportunity because, I mean, you're gonna get Cincinnati in September. This week you're gonna get a little bit of Florida weather. It's supposed to be in the high 80s, 89 degrees on Sunday down in Cincinnati. So, I mean, the ball could fly pretty well in that heat. Might get an opportunity.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be 88.
Whew, so I wonder what the field's gonna feel like. It got that humidity too.
Yeah, but it does have the so it's like half open on one end by the river, so there is wind that comes through one side. So it's I don't think it'll be too bad. And I don't know what time the temperature really will get going though when you look at it, because normally it'll be second half, I think, before it'll hit the high around 3 p.m.
Okay.
So it's weird. Ohio's weird. So I think we're gonna have a shootout here.
Okay.
I think the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is going to be mad. I think they'll right the ship a little bit on some blocking. It still won't be clean, but it'll be better. So I think they'll make enough plays to score some points here. And I think that you guys will be able to run the ball really effective, which will lead into a couple of big plays on some play action pass. I'm just trying to think if I go both of us in the 30s or not. That's where I'm at.
Spicy.
I like it.
Let me do I'm going to take the 4-point spread that Tim was going to. Give me 34-30 in a shootout in Cincinnati.
You think it's going to be like that?
I think so. I think it's going to get wild.
I hope you're right because I want to see that offense just go crazy.
It could be also because I want to see some points scored. You know what I mean? There could be a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
Wish it into existence. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Speak it in the universe.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What I think will happen and what I'm hoping to happen are two different things, but we'll see. I'm hoping that defensive line can get after that quarterback, but we'll see. It's going to be a tall order, man. It'll be a tall order.
Good stuff. Well, listen, I think we're going to see a good game. I think one thing we can agree on, we're going to see a good game on Sunday. I really appreciate you coming on, John. John, do you have anything that you want to plug or anything you want to say to the people or any final thoughts?
I just want to say thanks for all those who are out there repping the biscuit, and we have some new songs coming out here in the future. We have some special stuff coming out on Battlefield 6, so make sure you pick that up. And fellas, thank you for having me. Love being here, and I appreciate it.
All right, Tim, final thoughts?
Hey, everybody, thank you for watching and listening. Thank you so much, John, for coming on our little Bengals podcast here. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Just want to say I will see you on the battlefield, John, in Who Day.
Yep. All right, fellas. I'll have a good one.
All right. Thanks. And with that note, we'll see you all running through the jungle, and we're out of here.